for over 1,500 years, she slept under a blanket of ash and oblivion. An entire city, with its streets, houses, taverns, and secrets, simply vanished from history. Until 1748, when explorers made a discovery that would forever change our understanding of the ancient world. They didn't just find ruins, they found an entire civilization, frozen at the exact moment of its death. Pompeii wasn't the key to deciphering a language like in Egypt. It was the key to deciphering life, the daily life of the most powerful empire the world has ever seen. But how did a small village on the banks of an obscure river in Italy become a force that commanded the world for 1,000 years? To understand the empire, we need to go back, long before the ashes. Every great story needs a great beginning, and Rome's is a legend. Two twin brothers, Romulus and Remus, left to die but saved and nursed by a she-wolf. The legend tells of a fratricide, with Romulus killing Remus to found his city on the Seven Hills in 753 BC, a foundation baptized in blood. But reality, as always, is more complex. Rome wasn't built in a day. It was born from the mud of the Tiber River and the mix of peoples, Latins, Sabines, and crucially, the Etruscans. It was the Etruscans who gave Rome its first kings, its rituals, and its engineering. But the Roman people had something different, an aversion to tyranny. In 509 BC, they expelled their last king and declared something new to the world, a republic. SPQR, Senatus Populesque Romanus, the Senate and people of Rome. This was the new source of power, no longer a king, but two annually elected consuls and a senate to guide them. It was a system designed for balance, but one that unleashed an insatiable hunger for expansion. How did Rome conquer the world? With an invention, the legion. It wasn't just an army, it was a machine. Professional soldiers, engineers, builders. Wherever the legion went, it built roads, aqueducts, forts. They didn't just conquer, they Romanized. For centuries, Rome expanded throughout the Italian peninsula, but to become an empire, it needed to dominate the sea. And in the sea, there was a power that reigned supreme, Carthage. The Punic Wars were not just a war, they were the struggle for the soul of the ancient world. And Carthage had a secret weapon, Hannibal Barca, a military genius who did the impossible. He humiliated Rome on its own territory. For more than a decade, the terror of his name haunted the Senate. Rome was on its knees, but it did not break. It adapted, learned, and counterattacked. Hannibal's defeat was not just the end of Carthage. It was the moment Rome proved it could not be beaten. The Mediterranean now had a new master. It would become the Mare Nostrum, RC. The conquest brought unimaginable riches to Rome, but this wealth poisoned the Republic. Generals became more powerful than the Senate. Money created a chasm between the elite and the people. The violence that Rome exported to the world now came home. Civil wars erupted, and in this chaos, one man saw his opportunity. Ambitious, brilliant, loved by the people and feared by his enemies. His name was Gaius Julius Caesar. Caesar conquered Gaul, adding immense territory to Rome, but the Senate feared him. They ordered him to abandon his army. His response was an act of rebellion that echoes to this day. Crossing the Rubicon, he said, "Alia jacta est," the die is cast. He marched on Rome, won the civil war, and declared himself dictator perpetua. The Republic was dead. He just didn't know he would die with it. His assassins believed they were saving the Republic, but all they did was pave the way for something much bigger, an empire, and for the first emperor, Caesar's grandnephew Augustus, who would become Augustus. With Augustus, the Pax Romana began. 200 years of unprecedented peace and prosperity. An empire of more than 50 million people ruled from one city. Roads connected Scotland to Syria. The same currency was used in London and Alexandria. Roman engineering shaped the world, and for the people, There was bread and circuses, chariot races and gladiator combats to keep the masses happy. But this golden peace would not last forever. The empire became too large to govern. The economy stagnated. Mad emperors like Caligula and Nero stained the throne, and on the frontiers, a new threat was stirring. The empire was divided in two, west and east, a desperate attempt to save a collapsing giant. But it was too late. In 410, for the first time in 800 years, the city of Rome was sacked. The shock was felt throughout the world. In 476 AD, the last emperor of the West, a boy ironically named Romulus Augustulus, was deposed. The Western Roman Empire had fallen. But did Rome really fall? Its language, Latin, is the mother of Portuguese, Spanish, French. Its law is the basis of our legal systems. Its engineering, its architecture, its idea of a republic, they're everywhere. The empire may have disappeared from the maps, but it never ceased to exist. It lives in our words, in our laws, and in our cities. Rome is not a story that has ended. It is the story in which we are all still living.